It's time for Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore. A Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. Brought to you by Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet of Waterford. Plan your next vehicle purchase or get your credit rolling in the right direction with Regina today. And now, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore.
Good morning. You're listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, and I am one of the hosts, Regina Eileen Woodard, a.k.a. the Queen of Car Loans. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. T. Happy Saturday.
Hey, good morning. It's Mr. Trust the Process, Gil Garrett. How y'all doing this morning? Hope y'all having a wonderful start to your Saturday. You are going to need some pencil. You're going to need some paper. You're going to need your mental stability right now because the things that's being shared this morning, you should be ready. And if not, you got about 5 seconds to do so. And we're going to get some behind scenes going too. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook, Instagram, where you see Be in the Driver's Seat. Make sure you in the driver's seat. Listen, the word of the day is going to be popped off. I ain't stopped talking. You know why? Because I'm super excited about what's going on. And if you can look at these two beautiful hosts and this beautiful guest that we have in here, you'll be just excited as I am. So what's up, y'all? How y'all doing today?
What, do you ever stop talking? Hold on. Does he ever stop talking, Dr. T?
I don't know. You have to buzzle.
Because when you talk, you always talk with substance.
Yeah.
There it is.
Right?
There
Substance.
There it is.
Substance, right?
Yes, I'm excited.
So, Dr. T, how was your week?
You know what? Listen, after coming out of last week, I did a testimony talking about that time I had coming through that rain. But you know what? God is so faithful. What can I say? You know, he's so good. Had a great week. Had a nice weekend, the last few weekends, celebrating my daughter who's getting ready to get married. So we're on the road to Crude Up. So shout out to Sierra and Delvine as we prepare to get them married. So, yeah, it's been great.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. So, did my baby niece have 3 bridal showers?
She did. So the first one she had was called Cake and Sip, and where there was a room full of brides to be. They all came, and she taught a class on how to decorate a cake, and they celebrated and had a great time. And then she had.
So the first one with bride. What does that mean, brides to be?
So those women who are getting married,
just a brides to be. I never heard anybody getting
together. So this like was actually for women who were getting married or who was in the process, who were engaged, and they were in the room, and they were surrounded by family and friends, and they learned how to decorate cakes. So Sierra did that, and then we had the shower in Pontiac. Sierra's she was born and raised in Pontiac, so she has a huge family in Pontiac. And then the last one was in Saginaw. She has been in Saginaw for 13 years. So while she's been in Saginaw, she has developed another family there. So we celebrated her. And then her final hurrah was in Atlanta. So, yeah.
So what happened in Atlanta? So that hasn't happened yet, right?
Yeah, that happened already. That's happening right now, actually. So,
right
now.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you know what? I know that it is great to be loved all over the world, to get love. You know, I don't know anybody that has had 4 bridal showers. You know, it's just, that's a lot. You know, I mean, normally people just have 1, but 4?
But listen, it just is a testament that the seeds you sow is the harvest you reap, because people were literally pouring into her. Amen. So these wasn't showers she had to do herself. These were showers that her family and friends, they came together. Even her bachelorette party, they came together and they took care of her. So she was able to reap some of the harvest that she sows all the time.
Well, you know what? I was blessed to attend the bridal shower in Pontiac. So shout out to my niece, baby Sierra. I just can't wait till they get married. I did get my outfit yesterday.
Come through outfit.
And so come through. The queen is going to be sharp. Right now, I'm going to be in pink. I just got to take it back and see if I can get a size smaller. But I'm going to be cute.
Okay, cute.
So I'm going to be available. So if anybody there is going to be at the shower and they're a man and they want to get married or, want to date, they can. Did I say man? Okay, calm down. Go ahead, doctor. Go ahead, trust the process. I'm getting my words all mixed up because I'm talking so much much junk.
Dog, wait till I put, man, listen, when she said, did I say man? She been on it.
Yes, a man. I want, yes, a
She
man.
been on it.
We marrying her off, okay?
No, a man,
We definitely.
I said. You know why I said a man?
Okay, so hold on.
To me, other people that,
So let's get this straight. Let's get this
Stacey
straight.
identification break.
Stacey, man. And get in my inbox. No, okay.
This girl crazy.
Listen, what's not gonna happen is don't just take that as it's an open invitation. Because as a little brother, I am protective. You know what I'm saying? And I will come with the smoke. So just understand clearly, we just need to get back to protecting our women and making sure that we are taking care of them and making sure that we are providing for them. And I cannot wait for my niece to get married. Her husband, man, that man is, I did my research. Sure did. And I wasn't going to wait till the preacher asks if it's somebody here that don't think this should happen.
So what kind of research did you do, though?
You don't want to know. I was the police before I got a badge. Don't even worry about it.
Just give an example, a couple things that you do, please. Just a couple things.
Just a couple things I do when I'm researching who the ladies that I love, the ladies that I care about, when I find out they're dating and things of that nature, where the fella hang out at, like where he spend most of his time. Because where he spends most of his time and who hangs around him is where he's going to get his information from when he get in the trenches, right? So if something happens in the marriage, the first thing we do, we go back to that little crew. So you got to find out where they talk to, where they be at, who they hang around with, because that's not all the times that you know. You just know we just hanging out with the fellas. But what fellas? Is the fella a knucklehead? Is he got a little wisdom on his side or something like that? You need to be around some people that's going to keep you together. Second thing I like to do is...
I hope you got your pens and your papers because he's giving some wisdom right now.
Exactly. Second thing I like to do in my family, and every woman in my family will contest to this. It's not necessarily that you have to have a job, but you have to have a vision. So we're going to have a conversation because you can be in transition. Your transition may not be working a job, right? Your transition may be saying, hey, I'm going to be supporting your niece, or I'm going to be supporting your, sister, and da-da-da-da. And okay, so do you got the skill set to do that? So we're going to have a lofty conversation. I'm going to have a conversation with your teammates and your classmates, people that knew you before we knew you.
Is this the police or not?
Like I told you before I make this badge look good. The badge don't make me look good. I was the police before. I was protecting before I promised to protect everybody else. So with that being said, yes, you can jump in the inbox, and I'm going to jump in your inbox because we're going to make sure it's right, because she's too valuable to just be out here and wasting time. We ain't got 2-3 years to waste, but that's just what we is. And it's going to bring us up to our word of the day, because you understand why I feel the way I feel. So that was it.
Well, let's get into that. What I'm let's go.
So, I'm going to stop studying right now because this man just came up. This young man right here, Gil Garrett, mistrust process, always comes out right. And even when I think he's not listening, right, but he's listening. But this leads in our word of the day. Word of the week is safety features. And actually, Dr. T came up with the word. And when I was thinking of the word, I was like, well, help me. And I named a couple things, and then Gil came right back and said what he thinks. So we're going to let him kick off safety features, word of the day, word of the week.
So, we try to match everything to a lot of times with Regina with vehicles, and Dr. T with mental health, and myself just with the community. So safety features, just like you got safety features in your car that warns you that when something comes in, a check engine light. No, the car is not stopping, but the check engine lights get to blinking. It's to let you know there's a problem going on. Safety features like the seatbelt that you're supposed to have on while you're driving and your cell phone is not in your hand. So just in case you get into an accident, there's these airbags that pop up. That is a safety feature. There's a roll cage that's built into your car that if it tumbles, that the impact does not crumble you, because that's what the roll cage does. It protects you. Doesn't say you won't get in an accident. Doesn't say that it's going to protect you from somebody else harming you. What it does is it's already built in. That safety feature is built in. You don't know it. You just get in a car. Sometimes you push the car, put the keys in it. So we take our safety features a lot of times for granted. One thing about God is God is a safety feature. He is ultimate in everything that he does with us. He builds in safety features in our sin because he understands that he designed us. So he had to send his only son and say, hey, listen, so I won't destroy what I created. I have to build in a safety feature. But you have to contact that safety feature and know that the safety feature is aware in order for you to have the totality and value of the car. So with that being said, safety features. So when God builds in safety features, even though when we gonna mess up and we go down and we try to act perfect, when we ain't in the hood no more, we got our suits on and we eating steak, we stop eating White Castles, all of a sudden we think we better than everybody else. When we get into the club of the have and the have-nots, God builds in safety features because he know you about to slip down that ladder. You about to go down, you may have to get a recheck. So safety features are very important, not just in your spiritual life, not just in your physical life, but safety features are there to prevent you from destroying your life. So safety features, that's what that means to me.
That's good. That's good. When you talk about safety features, as a therapist, I teach my clients how to set and maintain proper boundaries, right? So you have to have proper boundaries put in place and let people know, this you're going off track, like you're crossing boundaries here. So, and also to be aware of toxic and dangerous relationships, right? So most of the people who come to counseling, they have something going on. It may be depression, anxiety, but most of what they're facing may be stemming from people in their lives, the situations in their lives. So we set boundaries, we put things in place, and also you allow yourself to say no. So safety features is guarding myself, guarding my heart, guarding me as a person, and letting you know that, listen, you're crossing the boundaries, you're crossing in areas you shouldn't. So that's taking a stand and saying, hey, this is what I'm going to allow and what I'm not going to allow. And don't let anybody shame you for having boundaries.
Facts.
Well, you know what? I love the fact that safety features are the word today. Is because when I think about safety features, I'm gonna break it down on the credit part and the emergency fund. So you think about safety features. You get into an accident and something happens, your airbag goes off, or your car gets totaled, right? What do you have to fall back on? Safety features. What do you have to fall back on? Your car is totaled. Maybe your credit is not where it was the first time when you got your car. So when you want to fall back on anything you do, you want to fall back on your credit. So if you get an accident, because you never know an accident is coming, right? You cannot, Dr. T had testimony early in the show saying what happened, and, she prayed. She got behind the wheel, she prayed. She didn't go to the right, she didn't go to the left, she kept the steering wheel straight. Now, if that was me, I would have called out for God, but I'd have been going to the right, I'd been going to the left, and I'd have been panicking. So safety features when it comes to your credit. You never know when you're going to need it. Number two, you think about this. You never know if you might get fired from your job, let go, or something happens, and maybe you can't get that next paycheck you was waiting on. Or you're an entrepreneur, and maybe you're waiting for that invoice to be paid. Do you have 3 to 6 months or a year in reserve? Do you have that safety feature in that?
That's good. What
we got next?
So I'm excited about when we're talking about safety features, because the reality of it is when you hear the word safety, what do you hear? And so I did share earlier about me being in a situation where I didn't really feel safe. So when you don't feel safe, what do you do? And for me as a Christian, my resolve is to go to God. And so all I could do in that moment instead of being fearful, even though fear tried to creep in, I called out on God, because I realize he is my present help in times of need. So a safety feature really is to know what it is. What do you have? What feature do you have to keep you safe? So that's good.
Well, what feature do you have to keep it safe? So, Gil, I really like the way that you said when you came in, you talked about the airbag, the other things. But one thing what people don't think about when it comes to a safety feature is this. Lane departure. Lane departure on a car. Now, me, myself, right, I have features on my vehicle that I don't use, right?
Literally,
right?
Oh, my gosh.
But you think about it. You need to know what your safety features are on the car.
That's good.
You got to know what's on your vehicle. Whether it comes to a car, whether it comes to your credit, whether it comes to your finances, and you just got to know what's going on, because you never know when you need to fall back on that safety feature.
Mm-hmm. And the most part about it, in that safety feature, let's take it a little bit step further. Sometimes the signals that you give, everybody don't see them.
That's true.
So the safety feature on your vehicle should be the same feature on your life when you start talking about your family and your friends. Wow. Like, Lee, don't just hit the button, the blinker left or right, and just let it just blink for 5 seconds. Click it all the way on left and right, and make sure people see the signal. Start pulling over and setting a direction. So as you're moving and changing your direction, then you got your turn signal on, and people can't say they didn't see you. And so when it's time for you to change lanes, and then you've changed lanes, then in what I like to call it, we pivot, we've changed, right? People can't say they didn't see it. Yeah. Because people will use the excuse every time they run up on you, or every time somebody hits you, they'll say, well, I didn't see you. Well, I gave you plenty of opportunity to let you know that I was changing lanes and I didn't like the direction that we was going in, even if we were going in the same direction.
So you saying you should put your blinker on 2 minutes before, a minute before you get to that actual stop. So you need to give a person warning ahead of time, right? Because like me, I'm a driver. You know what? If you don't turn on early, I'm going to be right there.
But you know what?
I'm going to be right there on your, I'm going to be right there on your heels. I'm just saying I'm going to be right there on your heels. That's just me.
Yeah. But you know what's amazing, though? But sometimes we're going to have people that are distracted and may not pay attention to the safety feature, may not pay attention to the blinker. They may not pay attention. So you have to be ready for those who are not paying attention, those who are distracted. So sometimes you have to be the driver in your vehicle and the driver in somebody else's vehicle. And so I say that because it's a lot of distracted people. A lot of accidents happen from distractions, right? But you have to be able to be focused on your lane and those around you. So I'm so thankful for angels, right? Because if we didn't have angels, we don't know what we would be in everybody's lane. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm thankful for the new cars that tell me when I'm getting in the wrong lane, push me back. That's what God does. When we get out of character and get in the wrong lane, the Holy Spirit will just guide us right on back.
Hey, so I appreciate this safety features being the word term of this week. I hope everybody gotten something out of it. Please, listen, check your safety features in your vehicle. Read the manual. Do not go outside again. Do not go outside of your lane or your life again without checking all your safety features, both in your heart and in your mind and in your vehicle, because that's what keeps us alive, those safety features. So we're going to be right back right after these messages.
Hi, Joe Lunghamer here from Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans and the Queen of Community. Isn't that right, Regina?
That's right. When you buy a car from me, you'll get on the road in style and you'll be enrolled in the Joe and the Queen's Community Program, where we help you work your way towards better credit.
Joe knows it's good to help our community here in Waterford and Metro Detroit.
To find me, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Looking to buy or sell your home? Whether you're relocating to Michigan from another state or another country, moving across town, upgrading, or downsizing, Brenda D. Davis from Century 21 Town and Country Real Estate is your locally known home purchase expert. Buying or selling your home is a complex process. Let Brenda simplify it every step of the way. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you. Call 248-909-9711 and get moving on your new home purchase or sale today. That's 248-909-9711. Call now. You are still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, and today we have Dr. Patricia Felton in the building. Listen, I'm so excited for Dr. Pat to be here. Good morning, Dr. Pat.
Good morning, Dr. T.
Good morning, Dr. Pat. Good morning,
Gil.
Good morning, Dr. Pat.
Good morning, Regina.
So I'm so excited, y'all. Listen, Dr. Pat is a woman with a wealth of knowledge. She has done some phenomenal things. She does leadership training. She is a coach, but more importantly, she is the owner of Ambassadors Institute Vocational Training School. So she has a school that helps train certified nurses assistants and patient care technicians, and it is located in Lathrop Village. She tutors RNs and LPNs for the state exams and also to get them ready for passing, right? But one of the things that I admire most about Dr. Pat is Dr. Pat, she was very dedicated to becoming Dr. Pat. So she was in school for a while, and she did some research, and I'm going to let her talk a little bit about it. But I want you all to grab your pencils and paper. We are going to have a phenomenal show. Safety features, we started that off as the word of the week, but that ties into what Dr. Pat brings to the show today. So Dr. Pat, tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and what you're currently doing.
Well, I've been a nurse, I would say 40 plus years. I don't like to say the actual years because it's been a long time. And when I started out in nursing, I always wanted to be a nurse since I was 12. I ended up at the age of 25, 27 maybe, being moved into leadership because people saw I had leadership qualities. That wasn't my trajectory in my head. I wanted to be an educator. And so when I got my doctorate is in education with a concentration in organizational leadership because I've been a leader since I was 28 years old. My research is on sources of stress and self-regulation.
Whoa, wait a minute, Dr. Pat. Sources of stress and stress regulation. Now, that's huge because and even the demographic that you went after. So let's kind of talk about who did you target for this research?
I targeted non-denominational Protestant pastors. And the reason I targeted pastors particularly because, again, I have a love for leadership. And I was really concerned about the body of Christ losing so many pastors, giving up on the call that God had called them to, and trying to understand why are they leaving the ministry.
Wait a minute, wait. You focused on pastors and you talked about them leaving, why they're leaving the call, right?
Yes.
So the Bible tells us you can't have a pastor unless he be sent, right? So now you have pastors who have been sent, who have taken the oath to say that I'm going to be a pastor, been dedicated to it, and now they're walking away from the church. Let's talk about that. Like, what did your research show?
Well, the research showed that pastors are leaving the ministry because of issues of lack of boundaries.
Wow.
They're leaving the ministry because of lack of self-regulation. Lack of self-regulation is one of our safety features in our body.
Let's talk about that.
Okay. In order to survive, you have to self-regulate.
Well, so I'm confused. How do you self-regulate?
Well, that's a skill you have to learn. And not everybody
doesn't have that skill?
No, they don't.
Oh.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, there's some young women, not women, but young families that allow their children to play on these video games all day. Mm-hmm. By doing all day. By doing that, they don't learn self-regulation.
Wow.
In order to self-regulate, you have to understand how to and when to stop when something is not good for you.
So, but what do you do? Because because I have friends that I know their kids play video games, right? Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that's just their way of getting rid of them for so many hours out the day. Is that true? To keep them busy instead of saying, "Hey, let's do something educational." You get your schoolwork in, but that's their time for just telling them to go in their room and do what they got to do.
I would agree that may be part of it. It's very difficult being a parent. It takes a lot of energy to be a parent, a lot of dedication, and when you have other resources around you that distracts you and make it easy not to be a parent, then you use those.
So distractions.
Yes, distraction.
And that's a safety feature too. We kind of talked about
yes,
that today.
Yes, we did. Uh-huh.
So, Dr. Pat, you're talking about sources of stress, right, and self-regulation. Uh-huh. In order to be self-regulated, you kind of got to know self, right?
You do have to know self, and that's one of the issues why people have poor self-regulation because they're not self-aware. In self-regulation, you must know your triggers.
Yes.
What triggers you to respond in one way versus the other. And you talked about the light signal of a car, and you talked about that as a trigger to know, this car is moving left or right. Well, that happens in our body. God made our body to self-regulate itself. Mm-hmm. And in healthcare, we call that homeostasis.
Yes.
It keeps your body balanced. The issue with stress is that people don't see those triggers.
So they're not paying attention because they don't know what to look for?
They don't know what to look for. They are not being receptive of their environment.
Or it's possible that they don't even know they're triggering you.
That's right.
And so sometimes, because it's self-regulations, what triggers me may not trigger you.
Exactly.
But if I don't show you that I'm being triggered or you don't know, that's when, so as a therapist, we really kind of talk about self-awareness and talk about even self-esteem and things like that, because regulation of self really is kind of knowing self and knowing what's triggering, knowing what is causing you to respond the way you are. So that's good today. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Let's keep talking about that.
You know what's I'm sorry, Doc.
Go ahead.
You know what's interesting? I just wanted to chime in a little bit. You remember back, maybe we'll say about 20 years ago, when individuals would laugh at people who were doing yoga. They would laugh at people who were doing quiet time. They would laugh at people, especially in our community, right? We were like, what they doing? That's weird. I ain't doing that weirdo stuff. I ain't doing this. I ain't doing that. And these people actually had the knowledge that we now know in our particular demographic, our race, as African American people, that you need to have that quiet time. You need it. We are just now starting to activate our safety feature of stress, right? We just thought it was something that we were supposed to just push through. We thought it was something we were supposed to be strong about it. Oh, don't cry. We didn't know that crying was a release.
Yes.
I didn't cry.
Yes.
The last time I cried, I was 9 years old until I got 42. So from 9 years old to 42, didn't cry, didn't release. That was not something I was supposed to. And I'm talking about not even in my quiet time, right? Till I got into therapy and they started understanding the conversations around it. That is a release for your body.
Yes, it is.
To release stress and tears.
Yeah.
Not saying that you got to be a cry, like say crybaby whining all the time, just crying. Just some people can cry to drop of a hat. I'm just simply saying for those of us who struggle with our feelings and our emotions and not understanding what they are, and that's not something we're supposed to know. So I have learned to turn on that safety feature. It is on, and when it gets to blinking, I make sure I pull over wherever I'm at to activate that.
Yeah, I want to touch on that just a little deeper. There is a theory, and it's a theory, but it's true. It's called the GAS theory.
Yes.
And in this theory, it says that our biological body is going to go through an adaptation when you're stressed. And if you do not manage those signals, that stress can lead to disease. When I was doing my research, I was sharing with the pastor about our biological body, that we first go through, an alarm goes off and tell you there's danger. Next, after the alarm goes off, then your body goes into fight or flight. And so you have cortisone increasing in your body and other hormones. If you don't handle it at that point, then your body keeps pumping that out because it thinks it has to survive, because that's the way we're made. If you continue in that route and you don't handle it, then that's when disease happens. So one of the pastors I spoke to when I was sharing about my research, he told me I just got back from the hospital. I was in a hypertensive crisis and didn't realize it. Because his fight or flight got into operation because he was under stress and he didn't pull himself back.
And that was something that I had mentioned to Gil and Regina when I put, when we were talking about the word of the week. I talked about us being in fight or flight mode. So we're either going to stay in the ring and fight or we're going to run. And so that's often misinterpreted as, they just running or, they just fleeing the scene. No, sometimes your body responds, right? And you talked about how this came into play and the pastor began to get sick, right?
Yes.
And so stress leads to sickness.
Yes.
It's sickness. So go ahead, Pat.
So the other thing that's important to understand is that the pastors I researched, it took them 4 years, some of them 5, to understand their signals.
Wow.
So I tell people, start thinking about what stresses you. And when you get to a point where you know that it's stress, you pull back. That's a strategy. Withdraw yourself. Go pull back and go into a meditation mode.
I was just going to say, so is that why people get up in the morning and they meditate for an hour and a half, 2 hours, some do an hour, some do 15. I have learned to do at least 15 to 20 minutes where I pray, I just stay to myself, and I just think about, Lord, help me through this day. I'm praying for praying for myself, praying for my loved ones, praying for people in my life, and just really looking back on, like, what stressed me out is because I have to do this during the day. If somebody upsets me at work, or I get upset because of how somebody talked, or a customer, whatever, maybe something didn't go my way, I seriously have to pray.
Yeah.
I used to do this when my dad was living. I would call him. Every time something happened or I was upset, I would take a quick walk, call my dad. He was like, took care of those, and I had triggers and things that happened. I didn't realize until maybe about 5 or 6 years ago that I wasn't really dealing with stress well.
Yes.
You know, I wasn't, because I did not know how to deal with stress after he passed.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to meditate. I didn't know how to deal with certain things. I would let something get me to a point. And now I'm better because of certain people in my life, right, that are closer to me now. But it's so hard to be able to even identify sometimes what triggers you.
Yes, it is. It is, and it takes time to learn that. But you have to be intentional about it.
That's good.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to be intentional. You have to be
Yes.
intentional. And because stress is just a part of this life that we're in.
Yeah.
And so because we know we're going to encounter stress, then we need to be intentional about, okay, I really got to deal with what bothers me and how can I manage that and be a healthy person.
You know, Pat, you talked about quiet. The hardest thing for us to do is be quiet. Our minds don't shut down. We don't shut down. So I'm interested in hearing more of your research and your findings when we come back after this break.
So we'll be right back, and we're going to continue talking to Dr. Pat. I hope you guys have your pen, your paper. We're going to be back after we take a station break.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Lunghamer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Are you paying high interest rates on a car loan? Do you desire to purchase a home, but you're unable to get approved? Perhaps you're repeatedly getting denied for credit when applying for credit cards. Listen, better credit doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen. I've helped hundreds of people better their credit and their overall financial situation by applying a simple set of instructions that anyone can follow. Call me today, 1-800-988-9184. That's Kathy Washington, your financial impact coach, at 1-800-988-9184. Don't delay. Call today.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat. So we got Dr. Pat in the building. Listen, Dr. Pat, when we went on break, you were really giving us some good information about self-regulation. So let's continue on.
Well, the other thing I learned in my research was about capacity. That it's a misnomer to think that we can multitask.
Ooh.
And women love to say, oh, I can multitask. I can do 5 or 6 things at one time.
Wait a minute, Dr. Pat. You got it. Wait a minute, Dr. Pat. Hold on, Dr. Pat.
Oh, that's Dr. T.
Somebody
let's
just
see.
came right up on somebody's door.
Whoa, she knocked on your door. Oh.
Y'all, Dr. Pat, Dr. Pat, help me, Dr. Pat, help me, Dr. Pat, because it's some serious secret lovers in this building right now.
No, we speaking.
Okay, come on, tell me about it, Dr. Pat.
Coming out.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we really, our brain is really made to do one thing at a time. That's the way our brain is made.
So complete one task before you go to another?
There you go. Because when
I don't know if I'm wired like that, Dr. Pat.
We all are wired like that.
Okay.
The issue is we compensate and we do other things. We do 3 or 4 things, but we only do them 80% or 70%. We don't do 100% because our brain is not made for us to do 4 and 5 things at one time. And we think we're successful when we do 4 things, but then when we go back and look at it, we didn't do it 100% because we didn't give all those efforts, because that's not how our brain is made. Our brain has what is called the executive function that manages our activities.
Okay.
In that executive function, there are 5 different areas that our brain manages.
Are we getting all 5 right now? Oh, we getting a couple.
We're probably getting a couple, so I'm going to tell you what they are.
Okay.
Give me 2.
Okay, the working memory,
Okay.
prioritizing, organizing, and setting goals.
Wait a minute. Prioritizing, organizing, and
What's
setting
the
goals.
working memory still? What's one after that?
Prioritizing.
Prioritizing, organizing, and setting goals, and time management. The third is initiating, focusing, and attention. Wow. The fourth one is social and emotional abilities.
I like that one.
And inhibiting abilities. The fifth one is communication and cognitive flexibility. So I'm going to talk about each one of those a little bit. So those 5 components are in the frontal lobe of our brain. Self-regulation controls which one of those are operating when. So when I'm under stress, my body, through homeostasis, trying to balance, will shut off, let's say, my working memory. It may shut off my social and emotional abilities because it's trying to balance my priority and my setting goals. So throughout the day, if you're doing too much, your brain starts to shut down. The story I give is, let's say you're a manager and you're in the office and you're trying to write out this proposal. While you're writing out the proposal, somebody knocks at the door. Somebody knocking at the door, then the phone rings. You now don't know which one to go to, and your brain starts shutting down because it's too many things happening at one time. And so that's how our body and brain is made. It's constantly in a mode of trying to balance. And the brain balances by shutting off certain parts. When you're emotional and you're crying, you can't even think cognitively because your brain shuts that part down. So each one of us, our brain function in that manner. Also, each one of us have a different level of mental capacity.
That's good.
Now, why is that important? That's important because if I know my mental capacity, I know when to stop.
That's it.
If I don't know my mental capacity, I'm going to go past that, and nothing that I do, I'm going to remember.
So you saying when people go off, when they get upset, they don't know their mental capacity?
They may not.
They don't, so they can't stop. Because
Correct.
I used to be like that. I did not know. I would say something, and I get upset. I just go on. Now I'm older. I know. I know when. I try to know when to cut it off.
That's good.
So one of the things I do when I'm tutoring nurses to pass NCLEX is I say to them, you need to learn what is your mental capacity. And the analogy I use is like a bucket of water. If you fill a bucket of water to the brim, and then you come with a glass of water and pour it in, what's going to happen to that bucket?
It's going to spill over.
It's going to spill over. Our brain is the same way.
That's good.
You can only hold so much.
That's good.
And once you go past that capacity, and each one of our capacities is different depending on your life experiences. Once you go past that capacity, whatever you do, it's not going to hold.
Wow. So Dr. Pat, you brought up the nursing test. So let's kind of talk about the Ambassador Institute Vocational Training School. So you are the owner of Ambassador. So kind of talk to us about Ambassadors. What is Ambassadors?
Ambassadors is a entry-level healthcare school, vocational school. We train nurses in 4 weeks to be a nursing assistants, and we have a 10-week program for patient care technicians. Ambassadors came about due to the fact that the school I was teaching at in 2019 closed. And I said, Lord, what am I going to do now? And so the Lord said to me, open a school. And I said, oh, can I do that? And you know, a lot of times when we hear the Lord give us a direction, we don't even know we could do it. And so I was that person, not sure, even though with a lot of skills and abilities, I wasn't sure I really could do that. And so I moved forward in faith, opening that school. And the name Ambassadors was given to me by the Holy Spirit. He said, name an ambassador. And that comes from 2 Corinthians 5:20, which says we are Christ's ambassadors. And a lot of people don't know that healthcare started as a ministry.
Yeah.
And it was about laying hands on. So we do that. My school, my focus is small classrooms. A lot of schools, they want 30 or 40 students because they want to bring in that revenue. I want revenue too. But what's important to me, that I want to make an impact in every student's life that come through my school.
So, you know what, Pat, what really grabbed me is that initially, and I know this is still your goal, you wanted to work with children aging out of the foster care system. So you wanted to give them skills to after they left the foster care. And even, what else did you tell me? Because I know it was for sure the foster care system, but who else did you want to target?
I wanted to target also women that are homeless.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women that are homeless, and they, in order to get on their feet, they need a skill. One ministry that I was at, we started a home for homeless people. The piece that was missing was them having a job. Mm-hmm. And it was hard for us to find placement for them because they had no skills. And so our school is perfect for that. Those women that are homeless, they need an entry-level skill to get on their feet, to start making money. When you come out of the program and you become certified, you can start off making $19 to $20 an hour after 4 weeks of training.
That's good.
The thing that's unique about the school, and it was delivered, that we only have 8 students a month. Every month we have a group of students that go through the program. The 8 students is delivered so that it is an accelerated program, but with 8 students, I know I can touch each one of them and make an impact, and they could really learn and ask questions and not be intimidated not to know. After they graduate, I provide one-on-one training for them. They can come back and I will do one-on-one sessions in order to increase their skills in preparation so they can make sure they're going to pass their state certification.
That's awesome. As I was looking at your flyer, I see not only is it a 4-week program and it's a small setting, but I see that your class hours are Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3:30. You get an hour for lunch. But what really grabbed me, included in the cost, if there was someone who was struggling with transportation or gas, you even have that in here. So some of the things that I noticed about this program is that you touched all bases. You made sure that you were covering every basis to get the person in the seat. So if you're listening today and you have a desire to be a CNA or a PCT, patient care technician, please reach out to Dr. Patricia Felton. And the location is in Southfield, Lathrop Village. The phone number is 248-481-4348. And then there's a direct line, 248-828-6359. So you hear it here today. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dr. Pat, so you can just tell us a little bit more about how you assist these individuals in becoming state certified.
Well, after you, Monday through Thursday, as you said, it's a school. Time but during that time in the morning, we do a lot of theory. In the afternoons, we actually do hands-on practice. Mm-hmm. The last week of the program, they go into a long-term care facility, and they really practice their skills there. Mm-hmm. When they're done, they can come back, and I give them one-on-one training with me to keep practicing their skills until they're perfected them. And then I say, okay, you can go take your exam. We pay for the exam. We pay for a full uniform, top and bottom, warm-up jacket. We pay for, they get a kit that has a blood pressure in it. They get a backpack. They get a book. They get a notebook, a pen, a pencil. All they got to come is be ready to learn. And if they don't have a way there, we do provide transportation stipend.
Wow.
I found that out when we first started, that students had a hard time coming to the program. And so if my desire is for you to be successful, then I got to give you the tools to make that happen.
That's good. But tell me, why? Why will I become a CNA? Tell me what the advantage is.
Well, the advantage is, number one, you'll always have a job, for sure. Because as long as people sick, they're going to need nurses.
Amen.
For real.
Amen.
And if you love people and you want to help people, there's no nobler job than to be a nurse.
That's real.
It's no nobler job. I can't tell you how many times that I have taken care of patients and they've came back to thank me because of my kindness, my patience,
come on, bedside
my
manner.
Understanding.
Bedside manner. That matters.
And the important part about it, I pray for my patients, okay?
That's good.
Awesome.
That's good.
So, we take God in the environment.
You know, Pat, as I was looking at even your flyer, it talks about being a robust market. So they will always have a job, right? Yeah. But what really grabbed me is that this is a stepping stone if they have a desire to be an LPN or RN. And oftentimes what I've learned is that if you start here, that'll give you the basic training. So when you get into the hardest programs like the LPN and the RN. So please share with us how this stepping stone will help them hone in on skills.
Well, for example, last year we had a student who was going to Michigan State University to be a physician assistant. And she said part of that program required them to have the training as a nursing assistant because it gives you basic fundamental skills of how to take care of patients, how to talk to patients. And so as an entry level, a lot of schools, when you're trying to get in a nursing program, will give you extra credit on your entrance points because you have a CNA certification.
Okay, so that's good. So, Pat, tell the listeners, how can they reach you? Address, phone number?
I'm going to give out my personal phone because I don't mind. My number is 248-943-8925. You can call me. You can call Dr. Pat and ask about the school. You can call the school. The number is 248-481-4348. And you can leave a message on the school phone. And you can even come by and visit us if you like. Our address is 26647 Southwood Field Road in Lathrop Village.
Wow. So, Dr. Pat, I thank you so much today for coming in and sharing this wealth of knowledge with us. Thank you for taking time out. We learned so much about self-regulation and how it really ties in with self-esteem, and it lined up with our, safety features today. So yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Pat. Again, if you all are listening, if you're interested in the CNA program or being a PCT, please reach out to Dr. Pat at Ambassadors Institute. Ambassadors Institute Vocational Training Program, 26647 Southfield Road, Lathrop Village.
I told you get your pen and papers out, didn't I? I told you get the behind the scenes. I told you it was going to be worth your time, didn't I? You get your phone numbers in. So listen, we're going to be right back. We're going to be talking about our beautiful businesses and wonderful businesses that we have in Michigan and throughout the country. So we want to give them a big, huge shout out. So we'll be right back.
We're coming right back?
Right back.
Are you sure?
Like right back.
Can we say it together?
Right back.
Right back. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans here with Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet. If you're looking to get into a new or used vehicle with affordable rates, we've got your back. My lenders are making unheard of deals where others may have roadblocks. Regardless of your financial situation, I can get you financed and driving today. Simply Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. Ride in style with the Queen. Regina, the Queen of Car Loans at Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet in Waterford.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Hi, I'm Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
I'm Dr. Teresa Moore.
And I'm Gil Garrett.
Together, we are teaming up to bring massive value to the community when it comes to cars, credit, and mental health.
Finances and mental health are big topics these days, and our goal is to help you take both to the next level.
Tune in weekly from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. for in-depth conversations, news you can use, and special guests every Saturday morning.
On DetroitPraiseNetwork.com, 98.3, 99.9, or 105.9 HD2.
You're still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat, and this is one of our favorite parts of the show where we highlight small businesses. So our first small business today is Kim Smith Nelson. She's the owner and real estate consultant of KSN Management Property Consultant. The address is 455 East Eisenhower Parkway, Suite 300 in Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48108. To reach Kim, you can reach her at www.ksnmgmt.com or ksmgmtpc@gmail.com. Kim is open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and closed on Saturday and Sunday. She specializes in residential and commercial property. She has a full-service title agency, and she has a theme that says, we specialize in helping companies develop and execute growth plans that drive profitability and position them for success. You can reach her on Facebook at Kimmy Smith Nelson or on LinkedIn at Kim Smith Nelson. Again, Kim Smith Nelson is the owner and real estate consultant of KSN Management. Reach out to her today if you are in need of her services.
So I want to shout out a nonprofit. It's Truth Junior Pioneers. It's under the Clarence E. Phillips Ascend Foundation. Actually, the CEO is Kano Phillips. Their focus is mental awareness, support and environment, mentorship, life skills. And we all know we need that. Respect. Their mission is youth leaders rising up to make a change in the community against substance abuse and mental health. They welcome new members, open to grades 2 through 6. You can contact Michaela Smith, who is the program manager, at 313-437-3073. Again, contact Michaela Smith. She's a program manager for Truth Junior Pioneers. That's under the Clarence E. Phillips Ascend Foundation. Her number again is 313-437-3073.
So y'all know I've been shouting out jobs who give out opportunities to the returning citizens, those who are maybe in a tight situation looking for work, don't want to go back into the same field that got them into a position in the first position. So Borg Warner Inc. They're located at 3850 Hamlin Road, Auburn Hills, Michigan, 248-754-0882. It is a Michigan-based company. It's a technology leader in the high engineered components and systems for powertrain applications worldwide, operating, manufacturing, and technical facilities in 57 locations in 19 countries. That means just because where you start doesn't mean that's where you're going to end. And you got 19 countries. So just think, you come home, you get the job, you figure out a year from now you want to move on to somewhere else. That's a business that has opportunity for you. 19 countries and 57 locations. The company develops products to improve fuel economy, reduce emissions, and enhance performance. Customers include VW, Audi, Ford, Toyota, Result, Nissan, General Motors, Hyundai, Kia, Daimler Chrysler, Fiat, BMW, Honda, John Deere, PSA, and MAN. And for more information, you can get them at their website at borgwarner.com. That's BORGWARNER.com. This is an opportunity for you.
Wow, that was pretty good. So listen, the next business that we are highlighting is Laverne Bobo. If you all know Laverne Bobo, she is a Pontiac resident. She has been doing nails for 25 years. So she is a nail technician in Pontiac. She's open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 248-361-7515 for location and time to set an appointment. She's been doing nails since May 1995. She does natural tips, overlays, and natural nails. So if you're interested in getting service, if you're having a wedding, if you're having a special occasion, please reach out to Laverne Bobo at 248-361-7515 and she will hook you up. So ladies, if you are in need, you, your sister, your mother, or even men, if you want a manicure, reach out to Laverne Bobo. Again, 248-361-7515.
All right, the next business that we want to highlight is
CNS Healthcare. CNS Healthcare. They've been a great partner in the district. They are located in Detroit is the main headquarters. However, they're across the country. They have over 400 employees, paraprofessionals, and support staff delivering services to more than 7,000 people annually. CNS provides comprehensive integrated health services and partnerships with several community organizations and uses a patient-centered approach to identify, support, and promote the overall health of children, adolescents, adults, and older adults. CNS Healthcare is a nonprofit certified community behavioral health clinic with 7 clinics and 2 clubhouses in southeastern Michigan. And again, CNS employs approximately about 400 employees, but they're always looking for great people to work for them. CNS Healthcare, and that telephone number is 313-824-5639. And they're located at 2900 Corner Street, Building A.
Our next business is that I'm going to spotlight, business spotlight, is Attorney Richard Taylor. Actually, I believe I grew up with Richard.
I know Richard I did. Taylor. Come on, PJP.
All right, well, I might be a couple years older. But Richard Taylor has been serving the Pontiac community in the field of law since 1996. He is currently practicing in the areas of criminal, civil, help me, Lord, civil and family law. Richard Taylor has recently been hired by the city of Pontiac in the position of Michigan Assigned Corporate Counselor. Congratulations, Attorney Richard Taylor. He's also been representing individuals defendants at the 50th District Court, City of Pontiac. Attorney Taylor is a graduate of Pontiac Central Class of 1994. He is older than me, Dr. T. He also graduated from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, 1998, and the University of Detroit Mercy Law in 1995. Law Officer Richard T. Taylor is a P.O. Box 430696. Office number is 586-481-5981. Office number is 586-481-5981. Or his fax is 248-338-2221. Again, the fax is 248-338-2221. Or you can email him at rrtaylor@aol.com.
Listen, shout out to Richard Taylor. We stay directly next door to each other. Shout out to Glenn, Valerie, and Nisi, who is his brother and sister. So listen, I stayed next door to Attorney Taylor. So we grew up together, PJP for life, okay? So I'm excited to that we're highlighting him. The next business that we're highlighting is the Block Detroit. Listen, y'all, I went to the Block Detroit last week for lunch, and it was amazing. It is on Woodward Avenue, and I'm telling you, the block had me full. I'm telling you, they have some phenomenal dishes there. The spinach dip is unmatched. And if y'all know Dr. T, because the catering meat, you can't just give me anything, right? So the food there was unmatched. It was good. The address is 3919 Woodward Avenue in Detroit, Michigan. The phone number is 313-832-0892. If you want to look it up online, go to theblockdetroit.com. Listen, they are open Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 7 for happy hour, but they open every day from 12 to 9 from Wednesday to Friday. They not open on Mondays and Tuesdays, y'all. But listen, they had some short rib tacos, and they had some poutine fries that was amazing. And don't sleep on their chicken and their French toast. Most people get chicken and waffles, but they got chicken and French toast that was the bomb. So y'all check them out. They on Woodward, and it's one of the hot spots. Parking is a little tricky, so y'all be careful down there. But I'm telling you, the food is unmatched. Again, the Block Neighborhood Bar and Kitchen on Woodward Avenue in Detroit. Check it out, y'all. Theblockdetroit.com.
So, Dr. T, I'm glad you mentioned that restaurant. So I've been doing a little exploring myself, and I said, okay, listen, let's find some places that people can go, right? Southwest Michigan, Granor Farms. You want to get a hold of them at www.granor, Farm, FARM.com. There are not many James Beard semifinalists. Have a restaurant consisting of special diners in a barn or a greenhouse right on the farm. Chef Barons love paving the way for new ways to present a region's flavor, on the table, sometimes have a tour of the farm and great conversations on how good the food is. Here's dinners can book a table at Granor Farms in Three Oaks, and they might get a chance to dine with the award-winning chef and cookbook author. The bright greenhouse and dining space, also housing the farm kitchen, has a full view of farm fields just 100 feet away. So that's Granor Farms, GRANOR Southwest part of the state. Great for a date night or just a retreat for you and your wife.
All righty. Our last business is King's Cakes and Catering. Food fit for royalty. You know, when you think of the Queen, you think of royalty. So it's King's Cakes and Catering. Food fit for royalty. Alicia and Kevin King. Alicia and Kevin King. 248-760-3822. 248-760-3822. You can find them on Facebook, King's Cakes. Wow, is my glasses? King's Cakes and Catering. King Cakes and Catering on Facebook, and on Instagram, King's Cakes and Catering. King's Creative hands@gmail.com. kingscreativehands@gmail.com. You know what? We need to give a shout out to them. They need to holler at us. We need to get them in the studio. And when they come in the studio, they need to bring us something to eat.
Some of that King's Cakes in their catering. Yes.
And so I want to give a special birthday shout out. Her birthday was August 4th. Dr. Calandra Green. She is she was a nurse in our community. She was actually one of the head nurses for Oakland County Health Department. She was the lead nurse, first African-American nurse in that position. She led us through the pandemic, and her birthday was August 4th. She passed in 2023 through a violence that shouldn't have taken place. However, we're going to keep her alive, and this is a great show talking about nursing. So happy birthday, sis. We appreciate you. We still love you. We know you watching over us. This was not by chance, the fact that we had this wonderful doctor in here talking about a school, getting more nurses just like you to be a part of a system that without nurses, we would have never made it through that pandemic. So happy birthday to you, and we appreciate you here at BIDS.
And also just to the family of Calandra Green, we are still praying for you, and we're thanking God for the legacy that she left. So shout out to Calandra Green.
Shout out to the family. You always in our prayers now and actually forever. Just because you may not see people that love you, always remember you're always in their heart. So we had a great show, and we want to thank you, Dr. Pat, for joining us today. Actually, thank you, Dr. T, for having this lovely young lady that doesn't even look her age. Oh,
come on, ain't she beautiful?
Oh, she's beautiful.
Hey, listen, listen, y'all need to get what do you say, self-check
regulation.
We had self-regulation.
Yeah,
y'all gotta get some regulation. So it's not only this a doctor who understood what it is about self-regulation, like she does it. Like if you ain't supposed to tell a woman age. I'd have lost that bet. It'd have been done. It'd have been a done deal. So, but we appreciate having you, Doc. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom. And you have to get into the career. Get the number.
Get the number. I hope y'all remember it. Yeah.
We gotta go, guys. Have a great week, and thanks for listening to the show. Same time, same place next Saturday morning.
Happy Saturday.
8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Be in the driver's seat. Happy Saturday. Have a good week.
You've been listening to Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore.
Brought to you by Joe Lunghamer Chevrolet of Waterford.
Be in the Driver's Seat, a Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. From Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore, thank you for listening.